Happy day after the AFC Championship Monday.
Hello, Chiefs fans.
So, Chiefs Kingdom, good morning, and good morning to the Bills Mafia.
That's right. That's right. Listen, heck of a game. Heck of a game.
Heck of a game. So many thoughts. I'm still trying to get my heart rate back in a normal, livable range.
My hands were shaking last night. My heart was beating out of my chest.
Listen, I peed my pants. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did. Right when Patrick threw that ball to Samaje Perrine and we got that first down, just a full out trickle. Just a full out trickle. And we had a house full of people. I told them, everyone I just peed my pants. Like, it was fine. Nobody cared. Even the men.
Oh, my gosh. I was watching it and I kept saying, Rebecca, calm down. They cannot hear you. Rebecca, calm down.
Well, it's funny. At one point during the game, I don't remember what. Oh, I know what it was. It was when Omenahue finally hit Josh Allen for the first time in the game.
Yeah.
Our friend Haley was here and she was screaming hit him, hit him, hit him. And he did. And our friend Rob goes, I guess he heard you. I was like, yep. But we have tons to talk about. Obviously, the Chiefs game will be a very big topic. If you are a Chiefs hater, this is not your show, and you are not welcome here.
No,
goodbye.
Yeah. Listen, I do need to make a public apology to Patrick Mahomes and Spags. I said some not nice things in the heat of some of those plays.
Listen, Becca, I'm not going to fully call you out because I know your mom listens now. Sheila, I'm just going to let you know, though, that your daughter, she may have used some language you wouldn't have been proud of.
We had a couple of moments where I panicked.
It's okay, though. We are not of the faith that believes you can lose your salvation. So she's good.
That's right.
She will still be in her Chiefs Kingdom castle in heaven. So we're good.
Right.
We have a couple other topics we're going to knock out first. I don't know if you guys know, because really all we care about is football and Taylor Swift. But if you are a listener in the United States, we did get a new president last week.
We did.
If you have been asleep for a while, it may seem like we've had him before. We have.
Right.
We're just going to do it again. See what
we cycle about.
We're not going to get political, but there was a wee bit of something entertainment-wise that happened. Well, first of all, there's a couple of things. I mean, I saw what you put in the notes, but I just need to point out also what we discussed about the plethora of people in the fighting world at the inauguration. We had Evander Holyfield, which if you're not familiar, he's a famous older boxer. Mm-hmm. We had Logan and Jake Paul. If you're not familiar, Laura, I can't tell you everything. I'm going to need you to Google something. But I mean, we had boxers and fighters amok.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah. And you don't even live here, sir.
Right? I
didn't get it.
No. There were quite a few, like the tech people in the business world, like that made sense to me. But you're right. Some of those more like celebrity boxer type, I was like, well, that's interesting.
Well, and it's weird because if you do, and this is not political, this is just factual. Linda McMahon. What is wrong with me? Y'all, there ain't no telling. I hadn't had a lot of sleep. But, she was a previous cabinet member for the Trump administration.
That's right.
I think she's going to have some job again this time.
She will be, what's the head of education? Secretary of Education.
Secretary of Education, if we keep that. Anyway, Lord, if you get me started, be careful, people.
Right.
Anyway, now, obviously Vince McMahon, like that. So that world, but we're not even talking WWE people. We're talking like
boxers
and fighters, like MMA.
Yeah. It was interesting for sure. Theo Vaughn, he was there, which made sense. JD went on his podcast.
Listen, I don't think I like Theo Vaughn.
I don't think I care one way or the other. It was just a very interesting conglomeration of individuals.
Not to sound like your sister, but where did he come from?
I don't know how he kind of got. I think he's always been maybe in the comedian world. maybe on
Oh,
that.
that's probably why I don't know. If y'all don't know, I don't get into stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, it just feels like he kind of like came on the scene. I thought maybe he was like Barstool related.
No, I think he's on his own.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, but something else happened at the inauguration. We did have Miss Carrie Underwood, who, listen, I know she's had work done, but she is still a stunning woman.
Stunning. I think there's a butterfly outside that the dog.
Oh, listen, Beavis and Butthead over here. By the way, well, we'll get to this in Chiefs game. Mid-game, these two idiot dogs that we have got out.
Oh, no.
We had like 9 children here, and they forgot to close the fence as a child would, and all of a sudden there was a knock at the door. We thought it was the police. Y'all, we weren't doing anything wrong. We were not doing a thing wrong, and everybody at the house froze. And I was like, hey,
drop to the ground.
Party. We're fine. We're fine. And it was just a woman who had found one of our dogs. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Love of Jesus. Why did he have to come home? Anyway, go ahead. Please tell the audience, because I believe this is one of your favorite moments of the inauguration.
Listen, so there's several balls and events that go on throughout the inaugural weekend, which I don't guess I realized quite how many they had.
Oh, we have a lot. Yeah. Let me tell you guys from personal experience in my previous life. Yeah, it's a lot. It's so fun. But the problem is when you work in politics, you kick off your career in politics with that week and you don't sleep at all. And then 4 years later, you realize you still haven't. It's a real problem. But
I can imagine.
That's where this came from.
So like all of these inaugural balls have some kind of entertainment at them.
Yep.
And so there was one that had Billy Ray Cyrus as an entertainer.
As you do.
Which shocked me that he was someone that was chosen just because like I didn't know he was still relevant or still maybe doing things.
I think it's more that a lot of people probably said no. I think a lot of people probably said no, even if they wanted to, because they didn't want to deal with the backlash.
Yeah, possibly. I felt like this year was the year that you could do it, and there really wasn't going to be too much pushback.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad.
Only because a lot of the people that came out were all like, listen, it's an honor to get to do this. This is like a once in a lifetime thing. Yeah. And I'm doing it because of the presidency, not because of the president. Yeah. So I think that the way that they framed it was really good. Anyway, so Billy Ray has one of these balls that he is the entertainer at. First off, he looks rough. The man, his hair is strangly. He's clearly got some issues going on, but he just slurred speech. You couldn't really understand him. At some point, they cut his music. I don't know if his guitar went out or if they cut it in the background and they were like, it's good. But eventually, like, he just was mumbling things and talking. And so eventually somebody came and like walked him off the stage, but it just was clear that he was just not all there. And it was just a disaster.
Well, and if you're not familiar, Billy Ray is going through, I don't know if their divorce is final. He's, what is her name? Fire Rose?
Fire Rose, yes.
Now, let me break it down for you. If you were going through a divorce and you are painted to be the lunatic in the relationship, and yet the person suing you is named Fire Rose, there's a lot going on there.
Right. There's clearly more to the story.
So it appears to, I saw where Trace Cyrus, who, again, I'm not sure how everybody's I didn't realize Billy Ray adopted Trace. I guess, anyway, even Trace, who he himself looks like a train wreck and has always been one, even he's like, hey, I'm embarrassed for you. Like, I'm worried, I'm embarrassed.
So Trace came out and he put a long statement. I believe it was on his Instagram, not really specifically calling one thing out about Billy Ray, but just saying like, I'm concerned for you. Now, Trace is known that he has had a troubled past. He also had some, I believe, substance abuse issues, alcoholism. He is now, I want to say, 2 years sober. And so obviously he sees that in his dad, what those struggles are. And I believe that Billy Ray has now threatened him with legal action, which ridiculous. But Tish, Billy's first wife, that they have all the kids together, her and Miley have both come out and said, we are not getting involved in family drama. Like, we're not giving you a statement. We just want to be left alone, which I think that just speaks volumes, because it's kind of like, this isn't our hands are off. Like, he's got to figure this out for himself. But what a huge platform that you were given, and you just completely.
Well, and I have to say, Miley, I'm not a huge Miley fan. Her voice is just not appealing to me. I know it is to a lot of people, and that's great.
Uh-huh.
But I will say it appears she has grown up a lot.
Yes.
Because we're not too far removed from where she used to be in public and people would be concerned, and so there's obviously issues in the whole family. Noah, the other daughter, she's a weirdo too.
I mean, that could not have been a normal household to grow up in.
No, not at all. And I mean, even Tisha's current situation, I think, is weird. But I don't know. You got to figure at some point the achy breaky heart money is going to run out. And you're going to need these moments, Billy Ray.
Yeah.
I would think.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard the song in 10 years, but maybe other people listen to it a lot.
Who knows? It was just really interesting.
But yeah, so we've inaugurated a president. And we have finally had some sightings from our queen. Now, here in America, this is a republic, but people call it a democracy. It's very confusing if you're not from here. But here on this show, we're more in the kind of realm like they are in Great Britain. We have a queen.
Yes.
Her name is Taylor Swift, and she does well for us.
She does.
And last night we finally got an appearance as she arrived at Arrowhead Stadium with her mom, her dad, and her brother. Let's go ahead and start with the fashion because Becca, I know you have feelings. Let's hear it.
So when she first came out, I was like, oh, I don't like that. And I think it was because so much black. But then like as the night went on and I kept looking at it, I was like, I don't feel like I hate it. Because like the jacket, I was like, listen, I don't have the money to buy it. But if I did, I might wear that.
So if you're not familiar, well, first of all, I really listen. If you're not familiar, I can't help you. But
there's only so much we can do.
There's just, so she was wearing a Louis Vuitton jacket, which I said to you, I believe was probably a nod to Travis because he's a big Louis Vuitton guy. And she's not been known to be a big Louis person until she's been with Travis. And so I didn't mind it so much as I don't like it when she wears baggy things. And the coat was very baggy.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that she was dressed with the layers because I'm sure at the after party, hopefully we get pictures from, there's like a maybe more fitted top on underneath that she has with the little mini skirt.
Corset, got to be corset, right?
Probably. That would be my guess. I think what it was, and I realize this is very hypocritical of me, and this is, I'll work through it in my own personal life. You guys don't need to worry about it. Because I originally
out of the DMs, aka.
I think I originally said, like, just throw some red in there. Give me something that she's, and then she did. And I was like, maybe it's the red I don't like.
I was going to say, they were actually my problem. So she had on some red tights, and that was actually my problem.
Yeah.
I did see, God bless those of you with the Easter eggs. I did see where y'all were saying that it was like the outfit she wore in is it the Look What You Made Me Do video where she's got on the tall red boots and the big black baggy jacket? I don't know if that's what we were doing, people. I
don't think she Easter eggs in her private life when it comes to moments that are for Travis. I don't think that's
her red tights because of the Chiefs. Now, I would have preferred the tall red boots.
Yes.
Might have been hard to walk on the field, though.
I can't remember if it was a game this season or last season. I think it was this season. It was like a t-shirt, kind of like an old school jersey with the really tall boots. That's been my favorite look that she's done.
That was my favorite this year. It was really cold in Kansas City last night, but not as cold as it's been. And so I knew we weren't getting and we never repeat. So I knew we weren't getting the puffer again.
Yeah.
We've not, and she's been wearing a lot of 87 and stuff jewelry, but we've not gotten like a cover that said Kelsey. Like I need that probably for the Super Bowl, and I know I'm not going to get it, but
I did like the beanie, the Louis Vuitton beanie. I liked that.
I liked the Louis gloves too.
Yes, I did like that.
I did see we have had 3 messages this morning alone where, do y'all think she was wearing gloves because there's a ring under it? No. I think it was cold.
No, I think she was cold. Yeah.
Cold. It was cold.
Because I'm pretty sure she didn't have those on the whole time. I feel like I've seen pictures where she did not have gloves on.
Well, also, y'all, if y'all think she's got an engagement ring that could fit under a glove.
Right, listen. If
No.
she's wearing an engagement ring, she's showing us.
Yeah, well, and it ain't going to fit in a glove. Like,
No.
I'm just telling
If she's trying to hide it, she just wouldn't have put it on.
Yeah. So before we jump into the Chiefs game, because I know it's going to monopolize our conversation, let's talk about the Eagles and Commanders game. It started out good.
It did.
It did not. It got carried away though.
I'm gonna tell you, on that very first play of the game, when the Eagles defense immediately comes out and sacks Daniels, I was like, "Oh, we have ourselves a game today, folks!" Like, that was crazy.
Listen, it was the first half was pretty good, but then the Eagles just listen. I don't really know, but somebody asked me last night here at our house, do I think the Eagles are that good? And they're good. Like, hey, they're good. Saquon Barkley having the season of his life. I will be so angry if Lamar or Josh Allen gets the MVP, and I know they will, but it's wrong. It's the wrong decision, regardless of postseason. Yep. It is the wrong decision, but nobody asked me. Their own fault. They're good. I don't think they're as good as they looked last night.
Well, I think it shocked me. Well, first off, the Washington got the ball first.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get a field goal, they took the clock down to almost 8 minutes. Like, they were out there for a long time. Eagles get it, and immediately Saquon scores a touchdown.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this was not the Washington that we saw in Detroit.
Well, I wondered if they left it all on the field in Detroit and there was nothing left in the tank. That's what I was wondering. Austin Eckler, who is it broke my heart for him too, because he's the veteran running back.
Him and Zach Ertz. It was tough seeing them lose.
Oh, and Zach Ertz losing in Philadelphia to Nick Sirianni, who's such a jackass to him. That broke my heart. I have to say, if you saw on Twitter, maybe we shared it. Listen, I don't know what we have and haven't shared, but Fletcher Cox was waiting outside of the Commanders' locker room to talk to Zach, and here's the thing. If they weren't playing the Chiefs, I'd be all in.
Right?
I really would, because Saquon Barkley, I want him to get a ring. It's not he can't get it this year. And I hate it for him, but it's not going to happen. Jalen, I love so many of those guys. I think this is it for people like Brandon Graham, but I don't know, because I don't know, but my problem comes back to what it always is about the Eagles. I loathe Nick Sirianni. I loathe him.
Yeah, I have enjoyed this year that the narrative has not been so much around him, and we've kind of gotten away from that, so I do appreciate that. There are so many guys on that Eagles team that I would love to see get a ring.
Yep.
But over the Chiefs, I just can't say I want it.
Well, that I just can't in principle on that. But also, I have to say, and this may sound kind of weird, but I also don't want them to get a ring this season, because it's the first season without Jason, and he went out on such a sour note. For them to turn around and get a ring, I think would be even more of a salt in the wound, and I just can't do that.
That's fair. Watching that game yesterday, and not to say that Washington didn't play through some injuries, they possibly did, I just was not aware. But seeing Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, who Landon could barely walk.
Yeah.
His back is hurting so bad that they didn't want to play him at all. And both of those guys pushing through. Landon took the first half of the game. Cam took the second half. But just seeing them push through and what they put their bodies through, because they wanted that win for the team so bad. Like, it just shows you the grit that so many of those veterans have on the team. It was good to see, but also I was like, okay, in the game, so these guys can
have we
shots?
Yeah, listen, I'm shooting something in there. Have we heard what was going on with Landon's knee?
I have not. It appeared to be that it's been an issue for a little while, because he was having problems before the game started. So it was not an in-game issue. Okay.
Well, they've got 2 weeks to recover. So
I'm going to tell you that play is towards the end of the game, I believe.
Oh, wait.
We kept getting those 3 encroachment calls or whatever.
Yes. And they
finally kept jumping on Cam's back every time. And I was like, his back already hurts. Can we please?
That was one of the most interesting things I've ever seen in football. So if you're not familiar with what happened, the Eagles are known for the tush push. It's not been as successful without Jason, but however. So they're like at the 2 or 3 yard line. They're going to do it. We keep having to inch closer because he keeps coming. The Commanders guy keeps coming, leaping over and hitting Jalen as he's trying to get under. How many times? 4?
Finally? So Lugo did it twice. Somebody else did it a 3rd time.
Yeah. And so finally, like on the last time before the Eagles went ahead and punched it in, the referee said, listen, we've told the Commanders if this happens again, we're just giving them the touchdown.
Which I did not realize was a rule.
I didn't know it was a rule or if he was frustrated. I was like, is this is what we're doing?
So hold on, because I had to find this rule because I was like, what? I've never heard of this before.
I was so thankful it was the Eagles and not the Chiefs because y'all are already making me want to kill you all. And so that would have really done me in.
So in the NFL rule book regarding scoring plays, there's an article that states a touchdown can be scored when the referee awards a touchdown to a team that has been denied one by a palpably unfair act, meaning something keeps happening that's illegal to stop them from scoring. And I was like, that's a fantastic rule to know about.
Well, and the smirk on his face when he announced it, he was like, listen, we've told them if it happens again, we're just giving it. I mean, when he said it, I was like, say what?
But by that point, because every time they had done it, they had like gone half the distance to the goal. So at this point, we're at like the half yard line.
Like literally the tip of the ball was touching the end zone. It was but bless them, because I think I'd have been the same way, like, just please.
Right. All of your momentum is pent up. Like you're trying to stop this. So I understand, like once he starts running towards the line, he can't stop himself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So my takeaways from the game, Spags, bring it in with me here, buddy. We are going to need to work on our run defense. Real tight. We're going to really worry about that. I am not concerned with Jalen's arm in the Super Bowl. Will he make some big throws? Will he make some big throws? Yes. Yeah. But if we cannot contain Saquon Barkley, we will not win.
You're done. Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, on the defensive side, I feel okay. Because I'm going to tell you, the Commanders didn't show up, and like we had a lot of mistakes. I feel okay. Yeah. I feel okay. But Spags has got to be Spags. And listen, I would trust my life in no one else's hands on defense.
I felt like they held back so much on the defense last night because I was like, boys, get it together. What are we doing? And then that last play where we needed our defense to show up like they had never shown up in the history of the Chiefs. Yeah. And they did that killer play. I was like, okay, maybe we've got a lot more in the tank.
Well, so we'll transition now to talk about the Chiefs game. I kept saying, why is our secondary playing so soft? And I think they were just so focused on Josh Allen running that they were like, we'll just play it easy back here.
Cook was making me nervous.
How many times did we drop an interception? At least 4.
At least.
There was one time it went through 3 of our players' hands, and I was like, I think I could have caught it. Like, and I got the hand. Like, what are we doing? So I think we were playing soft in the secondary because we were worried about Josh, which valid.
Rightfully so.
Now, I did something yesterday that I haven't done since last season.
Oh, do tell. I love confession.
Listen, and apologies to your mother because she's not going to like this either.
Okay.
I gambled on the game last night.
Mandy, did you win?
Okay, here's what happened.
Oh.
I can't. This is why I don't gamble, because I know myself. I have an addictive personality. It's also why I don't drink anymore. So I can't just like put a little. So I only allow myself to gamble on the AFC Championship game if the Chiefs are in it, and then the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We're going to have to talk here as a team if we're going to let me do this about the Super Bowl, because here's what happened. I can't just place one bet, okay?
Obviously.
Because, I mean, it's just like when you guys ask a question, I can't give you one option. So I went with a parlay, which if you're unfamiliar, that means 6. Well, it can mean a lot of things, but what I did was basically a parlay means multiple bets. So what I did was a six bet parlay, which is kind of your typical part. When you hear somebody say I did a parlay, it's typically at least 6 things. More than that, like you're really reaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I had. And
Okay.
boy, I started real strong. I was real pumped. So the first thing on my parlay was Kareem had to score a touchdown.
Okay.
So we came in strong, and I was like, okay. So here's what else I needed to have happen, though. I needed Trav to get an anytime touchdown.
Oh, that didn't happen.
I needed Josh Allen to get a touchdown, run a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Didn't happen. And that one was painful because, like, I didn't want him to score, but I needed him to score, and I was so conflicted. Right? And then there was that one time that he almost did, and we stopped him, and that won the game for us. And I was like,
oh, how do we feel?
Weird feeling, and I'm just going to have to go with it. I also needed Patrick to throw 200 yards. He did.
Okay.
I needed Josh to throw 200 yards. He did not.
Nope.
So let's see. I had Trav, both quarterbacks with the 2. I needed Josh Allen. I had Kareem. What was my 6th thing? Let me see. Let me log in and check where I lost. Basically, folks, I didn't win any money. I lost my money. It wasn't a lot. I did not endanger my family. I'm not that person. Now, when I was younger, before I got married, I was that person. I'm not that person anymore. Let me log in because now I can't remember what my 6th thing was, but I feel like I got it. I feel like the only thing I didn't get was Trav and Josh Allen. Oh, no, it was the 3rd thing in that pretty much Josh Allen crapped the bed for me. Let me see.
Listen, I'm good with.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, what was I supposed to do?
That's fair.
Yeah, it says I lost. James Cook to score a touchdown, which he did. So the only thing, I'm sorry, Josh Allen did get 200 yards. All I missed was Josh scoring a touchdown and Trav scoring a touchdown.
Oh, man. So close.
That's painful. So then I'm like, well, do I don't know. We've got 2 weeks to figure out what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But Patrick, things that I did not think to wager on, which I should have. Juju. What?
Yeah.
Where did you come from?
Listen, some of these guys popping up. Okay.
Patrick running 2 touchdowns? Running like he doesn't have ankles of glass? I was almost physically ill. I was like, what are we doing? Like that one play where Travis was in front of Patrick blocking and Patrick was like right on his head to get in. As Trav was running blocking, he was like, please God, don't let him get hurt. Don't let him get hurt. That's what he was thinking.
Yes.
That's what I was
Every time he would start running, I was like, watch your angles, watch your angles, watch your
And he would lean in with his shoulder. I was like,
yeah.
Listen, I know we want this. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. I'm nervous.
Other notes that I had, Pacheco, he's still scared, and that's not helping. And I understand you have a plate in your leg now, like.
Right, I get it.
But Kareem was taking a.
Listen, I don't need a plate in my leg.
Do we have a lag?
I'm just glad that Hunt seems to be made of steel. We do.
Okay. Do you need to switch internet? Do we need to call IT?
Let me look.
Let me pause this. A little small technical difficulty, but we're back.
Yes.
I have some LeBron stats for you.
Oh, share, please.
Something I found interesting. Patrick Mahomes will be just the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to start 5 Super Bowls, joining Tom Brady and John Elway. Brady was 34 when he started his 5th. Elway was 38. Pat Mahomes, 29.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. I just want to also point out to the Bills fans all the things that we have to thank you for today. Number one, we'll go ahead and begin with Patrick Mahomes in 2017 when you allowed us to draft him.
That's right.
And then if that wasn't enough, a couple years later, you traded around and let us draft Trent McDuffie. And then, if that wasn't enough, last year, you traded again and let us draft Xavier Worthy, who had a hell of a game yesterday.
Right.
So I would just like to personally thank you all for what you've helped us build here in Kansas City. Thank you. Thank you for
we'll take it.
Whatever you want to do this year, let's try it again. I mean,
I think and we've said this multiple times, there's just a different mentality at the Chiefs facility. Not a single one of those guys is playing for themselves, for their own stats, none of that. They're constantly playing for the team. They're constantly like, we just want to get a win. However we can get it. If I have to block instead of get the touchdown myself, then that's what I'm going to do. And I think because that's the mentality of those vets, then the mentality of the rookies that come in, they get to be set up right from the get-go. And then you have people like Kareem Hunt, who gets to come back, who is so appreciative of the opportunity. You get people like DeAndre Hopkins, who was traded in his prime for next to nothing.
For nothing.
He gets a shot. Like, you love seeing those guys get that moment because somebody finally gave them a shot. We get to see it on the Eagles side as well. You've got one more. Like,
I love it.
For great ones. So I'm so excited about this. But the Bills, honestly, like the things that I was seeing, and then the things that Brittany had reposted, you had sent me on Instagram when they had hung like the Kermit up.
Yep.
It's first of all, that's odd adult behavior. Your frontal lobes are completely formed, people. What's happening?
Oh, maybe that's going to be the title of this episode. Why do the Bills have broken frontal lobes?
I just don't get it.
Listen, there were a lot of things that happened in 2024 on pretty much every level in life that we did not anticipate. Right. Here on Y-Space and amongst the world. On a personal levels, clearly for me, it was just a cluster of a year. What I didn't have on my 2024 bingo card and has now carried to my 2025 bingo card, which I'm glad I don't really play bingo because apparently I'd be real bad. Brittany Mahomes. Here's the thing. You got your families from around the area they're from, or y'all have lived around where they're from. One of my friends is from there. I just didn't have the best Brittany Mahomes taste. Yeah. Okay. And when she became friends with Taylor, was I a little bit bitter? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, why her? Why not me? Yeah. But now I'm like fully on board. I love Brittany Mahomes now. First of all, I love your new stylist.
Yes.
Second of all, just seeing obviously the kind of mother you are, what you're doing for women's sports, totally in. Petty Brittany Mahomes. There is not a genre of life that we enjoy more than petty. And when she posted that, yeah. And I love that she said, let's do better. And also Patrick tweeted, see you guys in New Orleans. And then he retweeted it with a picture of Kermit drinking some tea.
You love it for it.
The thing that I will say, and I'm having to show a lot of restraint to not say a lot of things on social media that I want to, and younger Mandy would have said.
Yes.
Now when we get to the Y factor, okay. But I'm showing a lot of restraint because what I absolutely love is the mentality that Andy Reid has built here, that our players don't talk.
Yep.
Because Deion Dawkins from the Bills, Patrick is easy to defend.
Yep.
How'd that go for you, big guy? Just let your game talk for you.
Yes.
And that's what the Chiefs are doing so well. And they could be so cocky right now. They could.
Right.
I mean, you're literally on the step. You have made history already. You're the only team to ever go to 3 in a row. So win or lose, like you're the only team that's done it. And I like, we need to win it to, you know.
Right.
But I said to our friend Rob last night, like, Travis, yes, we adore him. He is not getting near enough credit for what he's doing this season because he's not having Travis year, but what he's doing blocking, leadership wise, all of that's invaluable. Now, we do need to talk about something.
Okay.
I think this is it. I'm pretty sure.
I don't want to talk him into retirement. I just let him have his moment.
I just am pretty sure the way that Jason said on his show Friday night, like, I got to show up because I don't know how many more he's got, which is verbatim to what Travis said.
Yeah.
He like, I don't know. He must have got on a getaway jet to get to Kansas City in an 87 jersey last night. Did you see Ed Kelsey at all last night?
Yeah, he was in the background of 2 pictures that I saw.
Okay, because I missed him and I was worried.
Yeah, he was like, because it was Andrea, Donna, Scott, and then Ed was on the other side. So he was cut from most of those pictures.
Well, and he's got a lot of issues with his knees and hips, so maybe that's why I didn't see him on the field or anything. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. There was extra security that went down on the field with Taylor and Donna, and so I did not see Jason and Ed down there. So I wonder if they only could let so many, and Jason and Ed were like, "No, take the security."
Yeah, I'm real ready for the after party picks. Also, can we just talk about this? Let's all remember Jason Kelsey in Las Vegas.
Whoo, Bourbon Street is a day.
It's going to be a whole new thing. But I got one thing of concern here. I believe it was last week, Kylie or Jason said she had about 10 more weeks.
Okay.
And so 9, 8, she could be like in the 6 to 7, 8 kind of week. And so, but listen, I mean, she was about to give birth when they were at Arizona. So he will be there.
Yeah.
Now, will she travel? I don't know. That's going to be a hard game for Kylie.
I was going to say, here's the thing for Kylie and Jason, no matter who wins, they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's going to be hard for Kylie, though, because
yeah,
it's going to be tough. So we did get Taylor on the field, which is our favorite. We love it. We love to see it. I thought last year she looked a little nervous on the field, as of course she did. It was her first time. This year she pretty much owned the field. And here's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first game, I think, in his entire NFL career that Jawan Taylor did not get a penalty.
I noticed.
And you know what he did get, though?
What?
She gave him a high five, and it was the first person she high-fived on the field.
Well, there you go.
See? So, Jawan, see what can happen, my man?
That's right. Okay, so I have some stats. Well, one stat for you.
Okay.
Apparently yesterday, and another Swiftie did the math. I did not, obviously.
Oh boy.
Apparently yesterday was her 22nd.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Now, with the win ratio, if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they will have a win percentage of 87% with her in attendance. How crazy is that?
Y'all, I don't believe in voodoo. I love using the Tay voodoo, but y'all, it's weird.
Right. It is weird. It is weird.
Say it's weird, and I'm good with it. It's weird.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a Super Bowl in New Orleans on February 9th, which is Saquon Barkley and Cooper DeJean's birthday.
Oh.
So how cool is that? You're playing a Super Bowl on your birthday.
Yeah, it's not that cool to lose one, but
right.
It's okay.
I do hope you lose, but
other notable mentions. The king of our hearts here at our house, Chris Jones, he was crying in the first half. Like God, I love him.
Like he always cries during the national anthem, which I love because he's one of those people that I feel like he truly appreciates being in the moment. He can take it in as being in the moment. Yep. But when they showed him on the sidelines and he was already tearing up, and then he had told his guys after that tackle on Josh Allen where the receiver dropped the ball, he said as soon as he got to the sidelines, he told the boys, get comfortable because we're not going out again. And I was like, man, you love to see guys like that win.
Yeah. Chris is always emotional. There was definitely a heightened emotion last night, and they have always said they go out together.
They'll go out together. I do, yeah. As much as I don't want to talk them into retirement, what a note to go out on.
Listen, I'm not ready. But I loved that. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think I could love this for him any more than I do. And his sweet mother, oh my gosh.
I love them so much.
I will say, we talked about it several times last night. The past 2 games, they're not using him much. And I don't know what's up with that. That was weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Patrick made a statement in the post game, and he said, there are guys that I really want to throw to, but there are times when I realize I need to utilize my run game because it will be better. And so I thought, I wonder if when there are plays that it's supposed to go to Hopkins or it's supposed to go to Travis, that he's like, but look what we can get through right here. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's calling an audible at the line. I don't know. But I don't think it's intentional. I just think that I do think that the other teams are guarding Hopkins a little bit. So,
well, it's the same with Trav. Yes, Trav is definitely slowed down, but he's always at least triple teamed. I love it for Kareem. It's such a redemption story. And just like Sophie Hudson would say, the gospel is all over that story. George Karlaftis, I adore you. And my gosh, what a season you're having. So like all in all, it was beautiful. It was all beautiful. We will play the Eagles. We will see what happens. But one thing that is happening in the NFL right now is a lot of people got some jobs last week. And
they've made some moves.
We've got a lot of people in a lot of different new places. So the Lions are kind of starting from scratch now in the coaching department.
Right. And I have not heard them requesting to interview people yet, but you lost your OC and your DC.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Good.
So Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, went to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know that that's a move I would have made.
I just think the Bears need somebody that's a little bit more seasoned as a head coach, but not an old head. Like, you still need somebody that's got some oomph into them. But
how are you going to go from being the offensive coordinator of Jared Goff to suddenly the offensive coordinator of Caleb Williams? That has got to be polar opposites.
It's interesting.
It's not a decision I would have made. Now, Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, which, of course, people are like, oh, God, it's the Jets. But he played for the Jets.
Yeah.
So I can kind of get the whole emotion to that. I think he was even drafted by the Jets. So I have heard that he wants to keep Aaron Rodgers. So obviously he's weirder and crazier than I thought, because that's a decision I would not agree with. But he also might be thinking like it's a known entity as opposed to like, what are we going to do?
Right. Yeah. So who do we have?
Now listen, Liam Cohen from the Jaguars. This was a weird deal. He's with the Jaguars now. He's from the Bucs. He was offensive coordinator. He was like going to go. Then he said his kid was in the hospital. Then he wasn't going to go. Then he did. Then he died. And now he is the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Said he was going to go. Then he pulled out. I guess they panicked. They fire their GM. He goes back to the Bucs, and the Bucs say, we'll give you the highest contract for any OC in the league to keep you. And then he doesn't answer them. And then goes back to interview with the Jaguars, and the Bucs can't get a hold of him. And then he accepts the Jaguars. Like, it just seemed odd, the behaviors.
I believe I saw, and I could have this number wrong, I believe I saw that this will be Baker's 8th offensive coordinator.
Yep.
That's a rough deal there.
8 in 8 years.
Had been talking a lot about Jaguars' job because everybody was turning it down, and everyone was saying it had to do with the structure of the leadership and organization itself. So it's interesting with Liam obviously not showing a lot of, I don't want to say integrity, but it's kind of how it feels. So that's a weird deal.
Clearly more to the story with the Jaguars GM than what we know, obviously.
That is, again, a job I would not take.
Nope.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
And then another interesting move. We've got Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, if you're
Jerry, what are we doing?
We hadn't even started the 2025-26 season, and your fans already are ticked.
Pissed.
Oh,
What are we doing? So Brian Schottenheimer is now your head coach. He used to be your offensive coordinator. Now, his dad was a hell of a coach.
Right, but that doesn't always translate.
No. Have you met Kyle Shanahan?
Right.
Just saying.
Hired him. Now, rumor is
that
this was Dak Prescott in Jerry's ear saying, I don't want a lot of shift in leadership, so let's just move what we already know as the head coach. I don't know. But also I saw somewhere where it said that as of right now, projections are that the Cowboys are already $4 million over the salary cap for this next season.
I saw that. We and just for a comparison, the Chiefs are $2,000 over.
Which I feel like you could cut out with, like, you know, maybe lessening your Uncrustable budget. Like,
yeah, like, I mean, I could kick that over if they need it.
Right.
I mean, I need a few months to save it up, but like, yeah. Yeah, this is a Jerry Jones move. But I also have to wonder, did anybody want the job?
True.
Because I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm not looking to go work for Jerry Jones. I'm just not.
No. Here's my thought. I think they're out of money. I think that the Jones family spends on players that are old and can't produce as much. I think they pad their own pockets. I don't think that they leave as much because now you can't do very much when free agency opens up because you have no money to argue against with any other team.
No, and they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose Micah Parsons. I think he's going to go. That'll really do something weird to their cap. I'm not sure how his contract is structured, so I don't know if that'll be dead money or money they can get back.
Yeah.
The news, I mean, you sent me the article about Dak, and I could see Dak saying, hey, I don't want a lot of change. What I can't see is Jerry listening to anyone.
True.
Because, I mean, the rumors were back in the day he wouldn't listen to Troy Aikman. So you're not going to listen to Troy Aikman winning you Super Bowls, but you're going to listen to Dak Prescott, who can't play a whole season? Seems odd.
Yeah. Very strange. Not a great move. Again, we'll see what they do next season, but I don't think anybody has high hopes for them.
Yeah. Now, the next one, I am so perplexed. Pete Carroll going to the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks going to the Raiders. And I know our bonus episode comes out this week, and we talked a little bit about this there. I love Pete Carroll. I do not understand this decision.
It'll be interesting knowing some of the players and how much they were all about Antonio Pierce. The mentality between those two coaches seems very different.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be good in the locker room. I have no idea.
It's going to be polar opposite. Have you seen the stories that potentially Russell will come from Pittsburgh? I don't see this because you guys have to remember, why did Russell leave Seattle? That was a Pete Carroll thing. They had finally come to a point where they wanted to part ways.
But do you think it's one of those things where, like, in the moment, maybe things went sour, and then once they left and got some perspective, and Russell had his situation in Denver that was not pretty, maybe, I don't know, because it will be interesting that there's been so much talk about that, because the Raiders have to have a quarterback.
What draft pick are the Raiders?
Are they 3?
Well, because the only thing, I don't know. The quarterback situation in Vegas is confusing to me, especially with a Pete Carroll situation. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Max Crosby. If he ends up, like, is this a decision that keeps Max Crosby? Is this a decision that furthers his
6? They're the 6th pick.
Yeah, this is a decision that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. Mike Vrabel went to the Patriots, makes total sense. Like, duh. Josh McDaniels coming back as his OC.
Makes sense.
Yeah, all that kind of a
mix there.
Yeah, all that flows. Now, I will say Al Golden from Notre Dame becoming the defensive coordinator of the Bengals. This does not make any sense to me. You're the Bengals, and that's all you could get?
Right? I feel like you could have gotten more.
Something. That's weird to me.
Somebody, yeah.
Jeff, Ulbrich, I think that's how you say his name, is now the DC of the Falcons. He was the head coach of the Jets. I think this is a decent move.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not crazy.
So the Saints still need a head coach. I'm not putting my name in the hat, if you were wondering.
Do you think McCarthy will go there?
I don't know. I did also see that Cliff Kingsbury said that he was not going to do any interviews until the NFC Championship game and hopefully the Super Bowl. Well, the Super Bowl part didn't happen for him. So
you're free now, sir, for interviews.
You got some time on your hands. Be interesting to see. But Cliff Kingsbury is not going to go somewhere he doesn't have an awesome quarterback.
That's true.
And he's even said it would be hard to make him leave Jaden because he knows what he's got there.
Yeah.
McCarthy, I could see. I also see that as a huge slap in the face to Jerry Jones. And so I could see McCarthy doing that on purpose.
100%.
I could see that. Also, you got to think about the names that are out there now. After all these moves, I mean, the Lions need both coordinators. I don't know. Yeah, I could see it. But what I think makes me the happiest is, I mean, Spags isn't going anywhere.
Right. I appreciate that.
Now, I guess he could retire. I don't love that. But
I think maybe he's got one more year in him. Right.
Yeah. It does sound like Matt Nagy is not going anywhere, though I don't know because he has interviewed for the Saints job, and of course he would not do anything until the Super Bowl's over.
Right.
Go ahead. Y'all can have Nagy. I'm good with that.
That one I think would be the position that we're okay losing.
That makes more Matt Nagy to the Saints makes more sense to me than Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Nobody's asked, but that's how I feel.
Yep.
Any other NFL news you want to talk about?
I don't think so. We've got the Pro Bowl coming up. Starts this week, Thursday.
Do we care?
Listen, it's enjoyable to watch while we don't have a game.
I mean, I'll give you that.
Right. We've got 2 weeks where we've got to, do something productive with our lives without football.
That's true. College football ended last Monday.
It did.
In a not a way we appreciated.
No, not so much.
The Ohio, man, the height of it. I saw a shirt advertised on Instagram yesterday that it was a white shirt and in bright red block, huge letters. It just said "the" and very tiny. It said Ohio State. And I said, this is why I hate you. Like, this is it. This is the reason I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't love seeing them win. I didn't love them doing so much better than Notre Dame did. Man, Notre Dame Ohio came out physical and they stayed physical all the way through. Now, I will say, and we've said this multiple times, there are some players on Ohio's team I absolutely love them. I do enjoy seeing them be successful. It is truly their coach that I just cannot stand. So again, you're kind of torn, but man, Notre Dame just relied on Riley Leonard way too much. And he was exhausted after the first possession.
I think he was hurt too. Their whole scheme didn't make sense to me. And I love Marcus Freeman. Obviously, they lost their defensive coordinator to the Bengals, so he should be talented, I would think, to go to the NFL, but I didn't see it. I didn't see anything that I was like, wow, I didn't get it.
I will say I appreciated the grit and the fight that Notre Dame had, even to the very last play when they knew they didn't have a chance, because my butt would have been laid on a bench. I me up like I'm done. But they fought to the very end. I did appreciate that, but man, I didn't want to see Ohio State do that well.
God, that was awful. We did have a weird coaching switch up on the defensive coordinators between Penn State and Ohio State that you and I were texting about that I don't understand at all.
That one didn't make sense to me.
But I don't know what we're doing. But so college football's over.
It is done.
We've got some questions coming up in the question section. I guess this is a great time to transition. Now that I think about it, I had to look at the notes. All right, this question is from Cohen. Right? Yep. He said, I'm sad football is over, in parentheses for college and soon for NFL. Let's look ahead to next year for way too early predictions. And I would agree, this is way too early.
Yeah.
let's start college because I got to think for a second about my NFL commentary. All right, let's start college.
I think we're going to have another year where we see the SEC struggle a little bit, and I don't love that.
No.
I do hope that they don't struggle too mightily. But I do think some of the powerhouses that we're used to being a powerhouse, I don't think are going to do well this year. I think Georgia has run out of its luck. I think they're going to struggle. I'm just praying Ohio State struggles next year. I don't know if they will, but I've already talked about it. I think we talked about it in our bonus episode coming out. Alabama's not going to have a real season next year. It's just the transfer portal, and it's just throwing everything off. The one I'm real interested to watch, I cannot wait to see Colorado next year with Prime as the coach and not his kids, because I want to see him put everything he's got into that whole team. I think this year, as much as he tried not to, you're a dad. Like, you're focused and your number one goal is still on your own children. So it's hard to separate that. Not saying that he couldn't do it, but I don't think he did it as well as maybe he thought he was. So I'm real interested to see what they look like next year when he has a whole team that he's focused on and not just his kids and some key players.
Unless somehow he ends up with an NFL job.
That's true.
You never know. I am going to go ahead and make my early prediction because that's what I do. I love to be wrong. I'm going to tell you, I think it's the year of Texas, and it pains me. But I believe in Arch Manning. I think Sark, I think he got too close to not come right back to it. I unfortunately do. I have always said about Alabama, it doesn't matter who gets hurt because your backup's tutor is probably still a 5-star athlete. Unfortunately, I now feel that way about Ohio State, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think Notre Dame will have a fall off, not to the bottom of the barrel because, again, they're not in a conference.
Right.
But I do not think they will be back where they were. And that's not a slight to Marcus Freeman. I just don't see it. And yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know what's going to happen with Georgia. I think Clemson will be on the rise again, and I think it's the year of Texas and Arch Manning.
Okay. Now, because I don't know which way I lean on this. What are your thoughts on what you think Ole Miss is going to look like this next year? Because they lost Jackson Dart, which I don't know is going to be a hindrance. I think that might help them.
Well, I saw the Giants may draft Jackson Dart, which I don't know what they're doing either.
They're not known for making
they deserve the they get. So I don't know, because they also typically do pretty well in the transfer portal. I think Ole Miss is a flashy enough place for big name kids to want to go. I think Lane Kiffin's a good coach.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really think, and listen, if you know me, you know that I hate to say this. I really think Texas is going to run the table in the SEC.
Okay.
And I think that I think having Texas and their success, and I think kids like Arch Manning going to Texas instead of Ole Miss, which a lot of people really kind of thought he would do, is going to start hurting the recruiting for Lane. I don't think Tennessee's going to be back up there. I don't even know if Arkansas is going to have a team this season. I don't know. But yeah.
Them and Alabama have some open tryouts coming up. So
listen, I mean, my finger wasn't messed up still. I'd be out there, but I think I got some eligibility left. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really thinking Texas. Now on the NFL side, man, I just don't know. I really I think retirement is going to be a big factor this year, not just for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of guys that are kind of either they're looking at the scope of their team and where they're at and how long it would take them to get the right roster. You got a guy like Zach Ertz. Like, he's probably looking at his roster wondering, like, when are we going to have enough to get there?
Yeah.
I'm getting older. Saquon, if they don't win it. A lot of these guys, like, I just don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, not that the Jets, I think, would even be in the conversation. So then, if we want to talk about the Chiefs, if Travis and Chris Jones both retire, will the Chiefs fall off?
No.
No, because you still have Patrick, you still have Karlaftis, but it's also Bo. That is a new couch, sir. Thank you. It will. Brett Veach, I have learned to trust, even though in the moment I never get it.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see who he pays.
Yeah.
Because the rumors are that he may not pay Trey Smith, and we may lose Trey maybe to the Bears. I think that's a massive mistake because if anything, Trey Smith, Thuney, Creed, that part of our line has been so pivotal to our success because we got Jawan on one side, and then we're freaking out like Wanye, Suamata, like we're struggling on the ends. So I think if we could keep that inner course, I really don't want to see us let Trey Smith go, and I'm just going to have to trust Brett if that's what he does. Kareem is another one that I don't know would come back. Again, he's on a 1-year deal. I mean, I would see us paying him, but again, is he going to retire?
Right.
We probably are going to be without Rasheed all season legally, I would assume, or at least a big chunk of it.
Possibly.
DeAndre,
get some confidence back in him.
Yeah, and DeAndre's on a 1-year deal, also older. If they win it, I think he's done. So it'll be interesting. I think we're better off on defense than we are on offense. So I don't know, but I'm not screaming for Pete.
No.
I don't see that.
But I'm also not writing it off.
Yeah, I mean, would I be happy? Sure. But no, I just don't see it. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the Lions. I'm still confused what happened. Obviously, their defense being so decimated, but is Jared Goff going to go another season?
Well, so they were one that I have a question mark on. You've lost your OC and your DC. Not to say you can't get another great one, because I'm sure there are a ton of people that would want to come work for Dan Campbell, so he probably can get whoever he wants. Hopefully your defense comes back healed and healthy and ready for next season. But you're right. We've got Jared Goff as quarterback, and depending on how well he works with the new OC and what weapons you get to keep or that you pull in, I don't know that they're going to have a success and get back to the playoffs again. So they're questionable. I believe when we did early predictions before this current season, I stood 10 toes down that I thought the 49ers were going to fall apart, and I nailed that one.
You nailed it. And I'll be honest, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. I think there is way more to that Christian McCaffrey injury situation than they're letting on. I think just by him going to Germany for treatment too tells you there's a lot more to that. I do not think he will ever get the step back that he had. Will he play again? Yeah. He's never going to be what he used to be. Just the nature of the way he plays, the position he plays, and those injuries in both legs. The fact that his knee was then subsequently injured tells you that all that pressure is it's just not going to happen for him.
And to me, when you're going overseas into other countries to get treatment, you've exhausted every resource here that we can provide you. And the NFL has the ability to get any resource you could need.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that's because the doctors were telling him here, you're done.
You're done.
And that's so unfortunate because but it's just part of the game. The biggest question mark for me I guess it's the 2025 season of the NFL, 25-26. The biggest question mark for me is going to be the Bengals. Will they pay T. Higgins? Should they pay T. Higgins? Or should we maybe go find somebody to play defense with Trey Hendrickson? I don't know.
You've got getting a new defensive coordinator was a good call. I don't know that you picked the best one, but you definitely needed to make a change there. You've got to get your defense, because your offense wasn't horrendous this year, but your defense couldn't stop anything. So if you don't clean that side up, then what are we even doing?
I mean, at the end of the day, you still have Joe Burrow and you have Jamar Chase.
But them alone,
I do not see. If I'm the GM, I do not see paying T. Higgins what he's asking instead of going to get somebody on defense. I just don't.
Yeah.
Now, Jamar could get hurt. I mean, lots of things could happen.
Right.
I feel like they are going to need to massively invest in their defense.
Yep.
If they can do that and their defense can play to the level that their offense can play, they're going to be up there.
Right.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Bills. I don't know about their contract structure on their guys, but you got to remember, like, who do they have weapon-wise with Josh? Like, what are we talking about, Amari Cooper?
I really think that they're going to have a redemption year next year. Not that they really needed one because they got real far this year. But you're right. We have to get some weapons for Josh on offense because it can't all be on Josh or James Cook.
And I don't know what James Cook's deal is either, but I mean, Keon Coleman for a rookie, okay. Shakir, okay. I would guess they'll end up cutting Amari, or he'll retire, or he's a journeyman anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know James Cook's deal. Josh Allen is a great quarterback. I truly believe if they will put the money around him, he will get a ring. But it's going to need to be soon.
Yeah.
I really do believe, or he's going to pass that threshold. I don't think the Dolphins will do a thing this year. I
think they went for names last year and it screwed them over.
Yeah. I don't think the 49ers will be back. I think they're going to be in serious rebuild. I would assume Kittle will come back, but that's another question mark.
Now they'll have to do a new contract for Purdy.
And they're going to pay him. He's going to get money. Does he deserve it? I am
probably more than what he's on right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve second highest in the NFL, but okay. So outside of that, though, I don't really know. I mean, it's going to be the usual suspects to me. It's going to be the Bills. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Ravens. What did Derrick Henry sign?
It was more than a year, right? 1 year. It was maybe a 3-year contract, 3 to 5, I believe. It'll be interesting to see what Washington does next year with Jaden Daniels. Does he have a sophomore slump, or do we still see them pushing and growing?
Well, and I'm always going to be wondering about the Texans. I just can't give up yet. I don't know why I can't quit them. I don't know what the deal is with that. So, needless to say, to answer your question, Cohen, we don't know.
We don't know.
A lot of moving parts, but we're excited to dig into it with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Simone? What?
I think it's Simeon.
Okay.
I read it in my head.
Apologies. It's that time again. Let's make some Grammy predictions. I'm with Mandy, down with the Brat movement. So yeah, we got the Grammys coming up this coming weekend, right? Yeah, it's this Sunday. Listen, I'm not gonna. We normally would dig into all the categories. We just had too much football, so we'll go with the big one. Do we think Taylor will get her 4 points?
Yeah, when I saw this question, I was like, oh.
I know.
I hope so. I hope so. I think I said it in our bonus episode, so it probably hasn't come out yet. If for some god-awful reason Brat wins Album of the Year, I will never watch the Grammys again. I would think it's between Taylor and Beyonce. I do not think Beyonce has earned it for Cowboy Carter. Has she earned it in her career? Yes, it should have been Lemonade. What about Sabrina's Short and Sweet? It's nominated as well.
I think Espresso will win awards. I don't think her album will win, though. I think Taylor will win. That's probably my bias. If not, I don't know. But yeah, I think she'll win it.
Now, I do think we need to put out there, because the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, we are not going to see Travis on the red carpet with Taylor.
And it's not because they broke up.
That's right. Just because he's not there doesn't mean there's a problem.
Yeah, I just y'all need to calm down.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, what are we thinking color of dress?
What did she wear? The Grammys was white last year, right? She did the white with the black glove, and I hated it. I don't know. I always love her in something more colorful. I think that she's got the skin tone for it. I would love to see like a blue, unless she goes real formal and does black, and then everybody's going to think it's Reputation.
I do not think she's going to announce an album at this award show. I will say I was wrong about January 23rd, though we did get the Lover cardigan, which people
Yeah.
I never understood why we didn't get it originally.
Yeah. I'm not surprised we still don't have anything related to a documentary out yet.
I mean, something's coming, but I don't know what it is.
I want to watch one.
No, I know. But yeah, so I'm going to say she wins it. We'll see.
So this year has a lot of really good options. So I don't know that she'll get Song of the Year with Fortnite.
No.
We've got Texas Hold'em. You've got Sabrina Carpenter's Please, Please, Please. You've got Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, which as much as we don't like Billie Eilish, that song did take off.
Yep.
And then you've got Shabuzi's A Bar Song.
Well, I just don't think Fortnite is strong enough of a song. I don't think the video is strong enough to win.
Yeah.
So I do think that it is most definitely not going to be like one of those sweeping years.
Right.
We'll see. Okay, next up from Paige. Am I the only one that doesn't foresee any modern actors, actresses having longevity in their careers like Meryl Streep? Am I wrong? Is there someone you could see lasting like that? We have talked something about this in the past. I don't think you're wrong for sure.
Well, I think this newer generation of actors and actresses, number one, when it was like Meryl Streep and all of them, they were only in movies. So they were taking all of the movies, and a lot of them were classics now. The generation now, they're in movies, they're in TV shows, they're having business ventures, they're doing a whole lot of other things to use their creative outlets, but they're also not burning themselves out. And I think that that's where we're starting to see the shift, because this newer generation is able to be more selective on the roles that they take because they have different ways to make money as opposed to just being in it. So I don't think that you're wrong. And I do think that we're constantly turning up a new crop of actors and actresses. I don't know currently who I could see besides you've got people like Emma Stone, Reese Witherspoon, that kind of actress. I think that they'll continue to do some projects, for a long time coming, but she's right. We just don't see quite as many that we're going to see those names over and over again.
I do not believe that the scripts are what they used to be.
True.
And I think that like a lot of those classic movies where you're like, even like the George Clooney's and stuff, like I just don't see, it's too much of the like shtick kind of stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
Also, they all try to like find this, like, they all want to do something different than they've ever done. And then it's always stupid. And
Right.
I think that ruins their legacy then.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all. I do think there are names that will stand like an Emma Stone, like a Ryan Gosling, like a Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think to compare them to somebody like Meryl Streep's just kind of weird just because it's just different. It's just
right.
a different ball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all. Okay, from Bailey. I want to get into country music. Help me. Maybe more of a better question. Yes, or whatever. Bailey, you were correct. This is definitely more of a better question.
Listen, I love that you want to test out a new genre that maybe you don't listen to that often.
Yeah.
The thing that I like about country music is there's like different lanes within the country genre. So I picked you out a couple because if you like, maybe you lean more towards like that old school country, which is not typically my go-to. I'm not a big Reba, Garth, Brooks and Dunn. Like that's just not my lane. But if you want to kind of get into that lane, some good ones to listen to are Lainey Wilson and Casey Musgraves. Those are really good ones. If you want some like pop style, maybe I don't know what you currently listen to, but if maybe you're more of a pop person to kind of ease into country music, Kelsey Ballerini is a good one. Hardy is a good one. And Kane Brown. I think those are really good to kind of bridge that gap a little bit.
you seem to be missing something I was almost sure I would hear you say.
I'm not finished yet.
Oh, my God. I thought she was done. Go ahead.
And then if you want something that's just like a good mix, you get a little bit of everything on their albums. Dan and Shay.
Of course. There it is. There it is.
But Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Jordan Davis, Thomas Rhett, those kind of bring in a little bit of the old, a little bit of the pop, and a little bit of their own spin. So that's kind of the lane I would maybe lean into if I was moving into trying to figure out country. It gives you kind of a whole conglomerate of options. So listen to some of those. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. We'll see if we named any good ones for you.
I mean, it is definitely more of a question, but I do love Kelsey Ballerini.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jelly Roll.
Yes.
I think Morgan is definitely like a good transition person for people. It's not my thing, but could be yours. I am interested to see how Kelsey's tour does this year.
Yes, I'll be interested, which is crazy because she just did a tour.
Yeah, listen, I know. What are we trying to do, people? Like, do you got
it?
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
But yeah, I love Kelsey Ballerini. I love Jelly Roll. Yeah, as far as the classics go, I mean, listen, you'd have to really love some twang to listen to that. I do love Lady A or Lady Antebellum.
Yes.
I'm interested to see new music, what they put out.
Yeah.
But thanks for not asking me anyway. Anyway. All right. Are you ready for some Y Factor?
Let's do some Y Factor.
All right. What are you not liking this week?
So what I'm not liking this week, and we've kind of talked about this when we were talking about like, what do we do once football season's over? Here's the thing. I love that football, you always know Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night, there's a football game on. You don't have to question it. You don't have to look it up. You know it's going to be on. I appreciate that. I have not been liking that other sports don't have those set times. I feel like NBA could be on at 8 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 7 at night. Tennis is on at random time. Like, I don't appreciate that. I need each sport to have a designated time because I realized there was like the Australian Open or the Austrian Open, something this weekend with tennis. I would have enjoyed watching some of that. I didn't even know it was on because it's just the wild.
Do they have a season? I
don't know.
I feel like it's year round.
Maybe it is, but still, you could pick a night.
Yeah,
pick something. So I don't love that. I need you to make my life easier. So make a whole sports organization cater to me. I'd appreciate it.
I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't.
Right?
Logical.
Not like.
Well, I have two things.
Okay.
That's clearly. Number one, I have beef with my favorite WNBA team.
That's fair.
So, a couple of months ago or weeks ago, no, I think it's been months ago now, the Aces traded Kate Martin. I don't think it's necessarily I guess it is a trade. They sent Kate Martin to an expansion team in exchange for money. I didn't love that because I loved her her camaraderie with the veterans. I just really loved the vibe. And then yesterday, at the same exact time, Becca and I texted each other that the Aces traded my very favorite WNBA player to the LA Sparks, Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
Now, I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why they would do this. I literally have racked my brain. The only thing I can think is, did she ask for a trade? That seems very out of character. She and Asia Wilson love to play together. She loves playing for Becky Hammond. That is not the answer. I am left empty-handed completely as to why this has happened, and I'm angry. I'm not happy. I am an LA Lakers fan, but I am not an LA Sparks fan.
No.
What are you doing? But now here's what I'm going to say, Kelsey, not a bad place to land with Cameron Brink coming back.
True.
I just do not understand at all. And nobody has told me. Nobody. I need somebody to tell me. I need Kelsey. I need Becky. I need Asia to get pissed.
Somebody just call us.
Somebody tell me what happened.
Yeah. No, it's odd moves. Very odd.
And then secondly, and this could be a dangerous thing, not that he would ever know that this podcast exists, but I am not liking Dave Portnoy today.
Okay. He bugged me this weekend.
And actually, he's gotten a little problematic in general for me. Now, from a business sense, I think he's a genius, but
yes,
I did not like the way he had Brianna come on the BFFs podcast and air out the Grace laundry. I didn't like that. So I started getting a little, When this weekend, he's not a Bills fan. He is a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
But he was riding hard for the Bills this weekend. And I get it. Dave's a big gambler.
Right.
He got a lot of money on the game. I get it. But $1 million to him is nothing. So, but the incessant, along with the other imbeciles on Twitter, of like saying the game was rigged last night. Y'all, like, I just don't get it. Like, if my team had lost, if the Chiefs had lost, I would not have thought the game was rigged. Like, there are too many moving pieces in an NFL game to rig the game. That is not possible. And Dave Portnoy was like the leader of the imbeciles on Twitter.
Yep.
But then today he's like, sorry to the Bills, like it was nothing. And I'm not here for it. I just am not.
No. Yeah, those are good ones. It's sad to see people fall to the narrative of we're tired of seeing the Chiefs. Like, listen, our generation has lived through a lot of historical events. A lot.
Yeah.
This one's okay to live through. Like, we get to watch. You can't sit there and say that you hate the Chiefs. You're mad that they're always winning. You can't say that and then say that you love football. Yeah. This is great football that we get to witness. This doesn't happen every year. We don't, or every generation. Like, we don't get this caliber of player in Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, like those type of players. Like, you're witnessing great football. And so to jump onto the narrative of it's the refs or we just hate them because of who they are, like, it's just outplayed. And to see some of these bigger names jump on it, like Dave Portnoy, like, just sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, the loudest mouths are always the biggest jackasses, is what I've learned. Yep. But what are you liking this week?
So what I'm liking this week, well, I have two things. Number one, we had a little bit of work done on our house this week, like some electrical stuff done upstairs. And then while they were here, Doug and I were like, oh, well, could you fix this? And can you do this? Because that's what you get excited about when you're almost 40. And you can't see in the picture here, but we had all of our baseboards downstairs redone, recaulked, repainted. Listen, I can't tell you how high I was on life last week with the fact that my baseboards are just spanking white. I mean,
okay. Hey, I love it.
Mom, I was sending pictures to my sister, like, so excited. So that really brought me joy last week. But
okay, it's a good
thing on TikTok, because thank the Lord we still have it. This is kind of why I got frustrated in my Y factor with teams not having, or sports not having set nights. With the Australian Open, I don't know if you saw any clips, your algorithm has gotten you there, but Ben Shelton that plays tennis, he's a younger guy. He
I know the name, but
Australian Open. Yeah. He is so much freaking fun to watch because he is like, it's like watching the Chiefs when they play football, because they just realize you're a bunch of grown men playing a sport that you've played since you were a kid. Like, Ben Shelton is out there just having fun because he gets to play tennis for a living. Yeah. So, like, I absolutely love getting to watch clips of not only him playing, but apparently the Australian media was pretty negative towards quite a few of the tennis players, like Djokovic and people like that, who had to medically retire in the middle of the game and things like that. He came out and defended all of these players, even players he was playing against. And he was like, it's not right how you guys are disrespecting them and everything. So I absolutely love that this week. So if I could, listen, I want to watch their games when they're live. So if you just call me, let me know.
Okay. All right.
Probably, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of times when I watch tennis, I get so confused with how we score things. And so it takes me.
It's usually like 20 minutes in, I have it figured out, but I'll forget it by the time I watch another match.
I too have two things, one of which is a bit weird. But it's another show that I watched on the actual TV.
Listen, I'm so proud of you.
Yep, 3 weeks in a row. This is actually a show that Aaron and I binged, and I will say that at first he was very skeptical because this show is actually Korean, and there's voiceovers. Now, I have to say, and our husbands are kind of into the same thing. I found it weird that he was annoyed by the voiceovers when they watch anime that is all Asian voiceovers, but whatever.
Yeah.
This was called Culinary Class Wars, and this was on Netflix. So basically it was kind of like Top Chef-esque, but it was Korean. And I mean, they spoke Korean, but you didn't hear it. I didn't. I heard the English version. And so there were several people the voices didn't match, and it was complicated. But it was really, really cool. There was a guy named Chef Edward Lee who actually lives in the States. He is Korean, but he actually has several like award-winning restaurants in Kentucky, of most random places. Wow. But he was super fun to watch. But so there were some very established chefs, and they were known as the white coats because, like, if you know, in like the cooking industry, like your executive chef is usually wearing a white coat. And then your sous chef is usually wearing a black coat. So it was, this kind of sounds bad, but it was the white coats versus the black coats. And it is called Class Wars. So I understand that all this sounds very problematic.
Please keep explaining this.
Yes. So the black coats were the amateur cook people. Some of them were self-taught. There was one dude who actually gets all of his recipes from comic books. He gets like inspired by comic books. It's very interesting. He's really good. And so they compete against each other. And so there were some team challenges. It's very much like Top Chef, but essentially it was like the white coats versus, it was the veterans versus the amateurs is what I'm going to go with. And like the goal was to be the last one standing and to, if you were previously an amateur, to then have a white coat. And it was really, really good. The winner was someone who was, an amateur that, in the finals, it was him and Chef Edward Lee. But it was really cool too, because it was Korean, a lot of the amateur chefs, the people they were competing against were like their heroes.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool sometimes to see them like defeat their heroes. But it was also cool to see some of the veterans be like, hey, these younger people, like, this is not how I would do it, especially when they would have team challenges. It was very interesting to see the dynamic. But anyway, the voiceovers are very awkward, but it was actually really addicting. I love, like, right now I'm watching Top Chef Kentucky.
I do like food shows.
I love that stuff. I don't cook, but I enjoy watching it. And so it was really good. My second thing I'm a little embarrassed to say.
Oh, well, I for sure want to hear this.
So, a couple months ago, Aaron got really addicted to the song "Yeah Glow" and by Glorilla, and he just all the time was like, "Yeah, Glow." And I used to make so much fun of him. And then Judd really got into the song. And then this weekend we had like 400 of him and his friends with us. I think we had like 5 of them stay with us this weekend, all weekend long. Oof. So we listened to a lot of Yeah Glow and then the Glorilla song TGIF. And I hate to admit, it's catchy. It's catchy. Am I going to go around saying Yeah Glow? No, it's just, that's not my vibe. But I'm going to be honest, I really enjoy it in the car.
Okay.
So if you need something new, a little out of your normal world, give it a try. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know who I am either. So
2025 starting off wild.
I give up. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
All right. Are we missing anything?
I don't think so. We'll be back next week. We'll know. We'll probably talk a little bit about Pro Bowl and we'll talk about Grammy recaps. Yeah. I'm anxious to see all the fashion.
We will talk about the Grammys. We'll talk about the Pro Bowl. We'll be kind of previewing more about the Super Bowl. We'll see if there's any news that comes out about coaching changes and just who knows what could happen in the world. I mean,
listen,
but we're here for it.
That's right. all the
right.
content.
Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week.